all these technologies really start with DNS. Have you ever heard the phrase DNS? It stands for Domain Name System. And it's kind of the phone book that drives the internet. When I need to go to google.com, DNS is how my computer figures out who to talk to get that content. It's like the Google Maps. I was in London recently, and the ability to say I want to go to Kensington Palace and just pull up Google Maps, and it says walk 300 feet, go through this tube station, go to platform 3, go 4 stops, and you're there. It's kind of what DNS does for the internet. It tells everything how to get where it's going. And this fundamental technology of DNS underpins so many things. In the industry, we have the joke that it's always DNS. If something's broken, it's always DNS that broke it. And I think that was more applicable back in the server world. But even in the modern world, especially the email world, DNS becomes really critical because a lot of these technologies that are used for sending email and verifying who's sending and receiving email are built in the DNS environment. That's how they're executed. And so, DNS servers are everywhere. You can look up your domain and you can find out all kinds of information about it. So let's look up our test domain here. You can see here that we have our MX records here pointing to Microsoft. We can go do a DNS check here, and you can see it shows, and this is a free tool, mxtoolbox.com. Anybody can come use this on their own information. This shows you my domain name servers, my DNS servers. So these are the servers that maintain all the records for this domain. These are GoDaddy domain controller domain name servers. And I can also go in here and we can do a DNS lookup, which will show you some information about an A record here. And then I can go do a whois lookup and figure out where my domain is hosted. You can see here it's GoDaddy. And then most of this information about who owns it is all through a private interface that GoDaddy lets you run. But this is the kind of information DNS has. All the technologies we're going to talk about today are primarily executed via DNS. You update records, create records, and then the other tools leverage those records to verify and ensure deliverability on your email. But it's important to start with DNS because number one, it's really important that you know what's going on with your DNS. And we do think that not all DNS servers solutions are created equal. A lot of times your marketing department is going to want to run the DNS, and maybe they want to run it on the 2Cow site or Wix. And these website companies and marketing companies like to manage DNS. But I would argue that your domain name is one of the most important assets for your business. And you don't want your marketing company to own it. That is your property. That is an incredibly important part of your business. If you lose it, it doesn't get renewed, somebody else steals it, you're in a world of hurt. There is no legal recourse for not renewing your domain or losing access to it. And if they buy your domain, they own it, and you're going to have to buy it back. So it's very important that you keep track of your domain. We recommend using a higher quality DNS provider. GoDaddy is actually not too bad. They're pretty decent, pretty cost effective. I'm a big fan of Cloudflare. They are really on the cutting edge of DNS capability. AWS has some good capabilities, and there's a few other providers that are solid. But it is important to maintain access. Put MFA on all your credentials for your DNS. If you're just running it through GoDaddy, it knows no MFA, and it's just kind of really simple, and it's what you set up in 2005, and you haven't messed with it. It's really important you stay on top of that. One of the other things that's come up lately, and I don't remember if GoDaddy has a check for this, is, and I mentioned this on our last call, is DNS security. So here's an article about turning on DNSSEC, or domain name security extensions is actually the full name of it. In GoDaddy, it's just a couple clicks. This is a public knowledge base article. It's very easy to do. And here's an article, we'll post links to this on how to get to Cloudflare's DNSSEC capabilities. And they have a whole article. Cloudflare has some really great information about how these technologies work. And this is from their article about how DNS works. What is DNS? How do they manage it? How do you secure it? Lots of great information if you want to learn more. But what they do here is DNSSEC really allows you to say, not only are your records hosted in Cloudflare, but Cloudflare will sign and vouch for those records. And that's going to become a topic we talk about a lot today, which is the idea that I can send you an email or I can send you a DNS record, but how do you know it's actually from me? And a lot of the times in the internet world, we use signing. We cryptographically sign it. So we take the ones and zeros in whatever we're sending, we run it through a cryptographic algorithm, and we get a signature for it, and we include the signature. And then we use our private key to generate the signature off of the content. And then when we send it to you, your side then can take that information, take that key and the content, and use our public key and verify that the content is not only legitimately from me, but it also has not been altered. It gives you not only verification of who sent it, but depending on the kind of record and the way it's being implemented, you can also verify that there have been no changes made in the content. Now, a number of the conversations we're going to have in coming weeks are tied to having DNSSEC in place, because it's a way of kind of controlling the information chain from the top down, from where your registrar on down to say, yes, Nathan owns flaskaway.com. Yes, it's his GoDaddy account. Yes, this is the correct record. Yes, you can use it to confirm that that email sender is properly secured and is properly signed this information. And the entire chain is able to be verified. Because one of the things that can happen is, yes, that's a signed email, but I can't verify that the record that was used to sign it is actually you, because it's not signed. And so DNSSEC really allows us to go deeper on this. Most of the time in Cloudflare and GoDaddy worlds, turning on DNSSEC is very painless. It's a checkbox, not much changes, but it actually really allows a lot of these technologies we're talking about here. And it actually makes your DNS more secure. It starts to make it much harder for people to maybe squat one of your subdomains and start to take advantage of your internet presence on the DNS side. Adding DNSSEC can start to secure some of those capabilities too. So highly recommend that if you manage a domain, you put it behind MFA, you put it on a trusted source. You don't let your marketing person be in complete control of that, or your marketing firm. Oftentimes it's a third party that wants to own it. Take it back. It's yours. Give them access to your environment. And then make sure you enable DNSSEC. It's a simple step, but it really enables a lot of key things that we're going to talk about.